Back row Mystery of the World Premier Mr. Mark coming at you live and direct from the Kia Optima studio. I'm kind of double the lineup in here. So, fake football season has begun, and of course it begins with the free agency portion of the fakeness, where we have all these predetermined destinations for people, and people will still think, oh, they chose that team. Well, they chose that. No, they don't. They don't choose any team. And the perfect example of that, the whole Antonio Brown. If you watch the scenes from the All-Star game, you saw Antonio Brown hobnobbing with his soon-to-be teammate David Carr the whole time, while the coach is standing right there. So basically telling you that this is already predetermined. Le'Veon Bell goes to the Jets, predetermined. These are teams that are going to be making pushes this year. You gotta think about these are teams and franchises that are going to be making pushes. The Jets haven't made a push in a while, so this will be them making a push. Probably some needed repair to MetLife stadiums. You know, the Jets have to look good. Giants, we said the Cleveland Browns had to look good because they're going to be making some repairs to their stadium. The LeBron James hustle allowed them to do the work they need to do on the queue. So now they need to do some work on the Browns football stadium. You bring in a big-time receiver like bend it like Beckham, Odell Beckham Jr., and you get the fans in the seats. You get a championship run, perhaps deep in the playoffs, and you take it from there. Still no window on who's going to be in the Super Bowl. It's not going to be the New England Patriots, so don't bet your money on the Patriots. You won't see the Patriots in the Super Bowl for a long period of time. So too early to start throwing names in the hat based upon free agency. Don't even do that. But know that a lot of this is done to get butts in the seats. They need you to pay. They need you to come to the shows so they can have their money or really make their push towards why we need a new stadium. So, bringing in Odell Beckham Jr., I gotta look up where Odell's from. I think I'm not sure. Let me look up where Odell's from. I don't want to say he's a Midwestern guy. I don't think he's a Midwestern. He might be. I thought Odell was a West Coast guy, but I'll check it out. But, you see the moves being made. Basically, just a ploy to get butts in the seat. So nothing special with any of the moves. The biggest move is Le'Veon Bell going to the Jets, because that means their running back is going to be moved, and he could go back to the Cleveland Browns. So let's watch and see if we see him return to the Browns now that they have this dream team together. So we'll see how it takes place, but all scripted and rigged, all to grab taxpayers' dollars so they can build up stadiums. So that's what it's always been about. Just a quick money grab, build up the stadium, peace. Other news is the BS news. And I'm going to start having a weekly segment where I crown somebody the piece of shit of the week. And every week I'm going to pick a new piece of shit that I feel has earned the right to be called a piece of shit. And today, that person is George Foreman. George Foreman is the piece of shit of the week. George Foreman ritually sacrificed his daughter, Frida, on Sunday. She dies at age 42, for those who know gematria. 42 is the nigga number. We've been talking about 42. And I was watching YouTube last night. I watched Everything Wrong with Cinema Sin. So to me, it's a fun show. I'm thinking, just an innocent show where they make, certain jokes, but they play with numbers. And anytime you see shows that are playing with numbers, you always got to think, well, who's behind the play? Because I've seen certain numbers pop up as of certain sins. So it just so happened they did a review of Training Day, Everything Wrong with Training Day, but it was a short review because it was an older one. I think it was 4 minutes or less. They got 42 sins on Training Day. Remember, Training Day is the movie where Denzel Washington won for Best Actor, and we know 42 is the nigga number. And when I saw that, I like, even Cinema Sins was in on this shit. So everybody plays the same numbers game. It's not a mystery why, a movie will get certain sins now. It's not a mystery to me anymore. It's just the way they put the numbers. I'm gonna start looking at their numbers every time they give a number value for a movie in sins. But 42, the nigga number. Frida dies at 42. Frida dies at 42. Coming out of February, which is 42 and 59 months. The nigga and Negro month. So Frida dies on Sunday, and then yesterday, which was 3/12, we get the news of how Frida died, and it's the same damn way every time. She just committed suicide. Then remember yesterday you had the fake news of the suicide pact. R. Kelly's girlfriends try to commit suicide. Be looking, like I said, for somebody inside of that R. Kelly docu-piece to be sacrificed. One of them ladies is gonna die. They don't know it now, but one of them's gonna be sacrificed for that docu-piece, because it's all a part of the ritual. Continue to build up that energy. So George Foreman, the man who had the George Foreman grill, who knocked out an opponent to become the oldest heavyweight champion, his daughter dies, and it's fitting that she dies 24 years after he won that heavyweight championship back. 24. And if you look at reflections of numbers, we say as above, so below. Reflections of numbers. 24, of course, is the reflection of 42. So you got 42, you have 24. So as above, so below. So all in the sake of ritual. And then they say she committed suicide yesterday. So why did they use that yesterday? So in gematria, two values for suicide, if you put it in the calculator, is 34 and 68. If you put Foreman into the calculator, and I tell you guys, get the calculator, run certain ciphers. I run the Jewish ciphers and the regular ciphers. And sometimes I put the Kabbalah cipher, and I didn't even run her name in the Kabbalah cipher yet. But if you put Foreman into the Jewish ciphers, you get 68. Suicide equals 68. So everything they do is according to the science. And the science is getting so sloppy because after a while, after you know the numbers and you know how to really, in what places to look, because you got to look to see who's actually behind the ritual. That's the other piece. Which set is behind the ritual? Is the Thelemites behind it? Are the Satanists behind this ritual? Are the fake Zionists behind the ritual? Are the is the government behind the ritual? Everybody is other cults behind the ritual. Are the Kabbalists behind the ritual? You don't know who's behind the ritual. So bring up their ciphers and how they do their numbers to figure out who's behind the ritual. So we get the fake Zionists are behind this ritual. And of course, the suicide is 68 using their gematria code. And Foreman is 68. So that's how you tie it in one way. And also, you go to numerology. So we always go to numerology. And of course, in numerology, gematria suicide is 34. Yesterday was a date with 34 numerology. So the only thing they did was just pick what was more convenient. And the thing that was more convenient for them was suicide. Suicide on a date where the numerology, the numbers are matched up to the code for suicide, which is 34. So everything these folks do, after a while, it gets easier. The only thing I'm trying to master are color codes. Brother Yahi does color codes. He talks a lot about the CERNs. CERNs are real. You can look, there's a company that makes these things. CERNs are real. Talks a lot about the CERNs. He talks about a lot about symbolism with animals and things like that. You got Zach and Dan Brin who like to, kind of tie in story. Dan Brin is better at tying in a string of stories, kind of like Brother Yahi. They tie in strings of stories to get, okay, what is the underlying code that's been being expressed here. So a lot of different ways to kind of catch the devil at his game now. Keep your eyes open. Learn the various ways to catch the devil at his game. But you got to do some research. I got a lot of research to do. I got a lot of books to read. I am far off of the game. So I got a long way to go as far as building up my knowledge, but it's a lot of knowledge out there where you can stay ahead of the game. And after a while, you start to see through the foolishness. You know, random people just committing suicide every 5 or 10 minutes. People who, you know, they just pull it out the head. Oh, suicide. And the public believes this. That's the problem with the human race. We don't challenge anything. We believe every story. And then somebody might say, well, how do you know that person didn't want to commit suicide? Come on, everybody's committing suicide. Think about the number of suicides of high celebrity people that we've had in the last 2 years. Everybody's just committing suicide. Everybody. Remember the Bland girl? She supposed to hung herself in a cell, and there's no record of her hanging herself in a cell. Shit, there's probably no record of the broad even going to jail. But black folks ate it up. You got to be willing to challenge some of these stories. I can break Bland down and have numbers from all over the place wrapped around her. I don't even think the girl existed. So, you know, we really got to stay on top of these stories. They will use anything to distract us and fool us. And we got to understand these people are not on our side. Their job is to do this. Mr. Motley, Back Row Ministry. Stay woke, wake up, stay alert. Peace.